Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. Welcome back to any of you who have come across and watched any of my videos previously, and welcome to those of you who are just coming here to see what this is all about. The reading I'm doing today is for Scorpio, and it will be Scorpio Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. So if you've got any of those placements in your charts, this reading could resonate with you. It is for the whole of 2022. I know we're 3 months into 2022 and I'm still trying to get those videos put out there. So I will apologise for that, Scorpio. It is all a bit late, but I am going to do it the last 3 months retrogradely. I don't know if that's even a word, but retrospectively maybe. Anyway, I'm going to look at what has happened and what is happening for you at this time as well. So if you don't know where those placements are, Scorpio, for your moon and your rising, Venus, etc., then there is going to be a free link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out for yourselves. It's always worth knowing, I think, where the planets are or were when you were born, and as to where they are now and how that affects you on a deeper, bigger level as well. So starting your reading off, well, the reading I will just say is set out first of all in a clock. So there's one, well, there's more than one card. I'm using 3 sets of different cards, 3 sets of tarot cards. I've separated all of the major arcana and the minor arcana from 2 separate decks, and then I'm going to use another deck to confirm the energies with those as well. So like each number represents a month, or each month represents one of the numbers on the clock, on the wheel. So that's how it's set out, so just so you've got some idea of what's going on. First card that we're starting with here today, we have the Devil energy in January for you, Scorpio, and it's in reverse. And I kind of get the feeling that this is to do with you, well, it could be to do with addictions, obsessions. It could also be fear, a lot of fear coming up at that time, or there was around that time. Or it could just be overindulgence in general. January, that kind of period of time, can be a very overindulgent part of the year, beginning of the year. But I do get the feeling that this is also, for some of you, this could also have been a kind of step backwards in possible addictions, and that could be alcohol, that could be drugs, that could be anything at all. But something that you kind of may have been a bit harsh on yourself about it as well, and felt that you were like temptation got the best of you. It could also be sexual as well. The devil can represent lust rather than love. So for some of you there could have been elements of that as well. We have the minor arcana here of the 8 of Wands, or the 8 of Fire, and the 5 of Water, or the 5 of Cups as it's also known. And this feels like something coming in, some kind of messages, something that has upset the balance, something that has got you all up in your, well, say emotionally disturbed is probably the best way to put it. I wouldn't say it's all up in your head, but there is this kind of energy of like, oh no, what am I going to do? Despair, a kind of despairing energy here, of not knowing what to do next, not knowing how you should have reacted to a certain situation. And that may have been why this devil energy came in as well, because you may have gone back to your old ways for some of you, Scorpio. It might have been like a trigger point, something that sent you back into a situation that you thought that you'd kind of possibly removed yourself from. The 8 of Fire, 8 of Wands can represent communication or messages coming in. So there could be that element of, like I was saying, hearing something And looking at the rest of the cards as well that came after this, there does seem to be an element of communication and messages, lots of kind of messages coming through at this time. And I always see this energy here, or these bamboo, I think they're supposed to be bamboo, in the background here, but it kind of looks to me like some kind of like a veil, like a kind of yeah, like a curtain, like a very sheer curtain that you can kind of see through, but you can't see things clearly. So it's almost like something kind of, it could have been communication that wasn't completely clear, or it was unexpected, but it was something that has this 5 of water, 5 of cups, feeling very, they're just despairing, just this sense of, what am I going to do now? I don't know what to do now, kind of energy. So it could have been something that you heard, something that you were told, something somebody told you that you may not have been expecting to hear at that time. So as you moved into February, we have the Magician upright, and the Magician is saying to me that you came out of this devil energy with the sense of actually wanting to manifest something for yourself, like actually kind of taking control in a way, sitting in your creative, like getting your creative juices running. And it's come out with the 10 of Cups as well, so this kind of feels like there was something that was finalized here with the 10 of Cups in reverse. It could have been a relationship for some of you. It could have been a family situation, friendship. But there was something, and it feels like this 10 of Cups, whatever this situation, and it feels again like it was related to this here, to all this stuff here. Whatever was going on here in February kind of carried through with this sense of unhappiness, this sense of things not turning out the way that you expected them to, or wanted them to, or was hoping for. But it also brought this Magician energy of something that you now felt you had to actually do something about. Because the Magician in many ways is like stepping into your power over your life, because what it's asking you to do, it's a manifestation energy, but it's asking you to recognize that what you are manifesting around you is coming from you. You are the source of all that manifestation. So what you experience in life is what you are putting out there. It's that saying, you know, what you put out there, you get it back. So what you reap, you have already sown in a way. But the interesting thing about the Magician energy as well is that it involves our thoughts process, our emotional process, our creativity, and it kind of manifests in the physical. So it's saying like whatever it is that you are focusing your attention on, so if you're focusing on this kind of unhappiness, then it will bring in more of that unhappiness into your life. If you're focusing on the fact that you possibly don't have a relationship, or that you are unhappy about work, or whatever the situation for you has been, Scorpio, it's kind of saying that you've got this powerful manifestation energy going on, or you did have, but you had to be careful where you were putting that thought process, where you were focused, what was your focus at that time. And in March, as we're now in the March energy, we have the Sun here, and the messenger of water. So again, more messages. So it does feel like this has been a time, these first 3 months of 2022 feel as though they have been full of a lot of communication for you. Either you communicating something or somebody communicating something to you. With the sun in reverse here as well, it feels as though this could be draining energy. It could be that your energy has just been very drained and you're just not feeling on top of the world. You're just not feeling as though you've got that get up and go and that kind of desire to really do much at all at this time. The Sun often talks, it's said to be the best card in the whole of the deck, because it kind of talks about satisfaction, clarity, happiness. It's a very masculine, driving energy, a very doing energy. But when it's in reverse, it's kind of saying that there is this more subdued side to this. So you may be keeping something hidden here as well. You may be keeping a part of your normal, I say normal, your kind of personality, your fiery, expressive side of yourself, Scorpio. I know you're a water sign. I know you are based more in the emotional, watery element. But at the same time, Scorpio does have this kind of like a fiery, passionate side to their own nature as well. A lot of people do mistake Scorpios as fire signs because they do have that real kind of passion about them. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a sexual thing, but it can be a very obsessive thing as well. When Scorpios get obsessed by something, it can take a lot to get over that. So I'm going to do some confirmation cards for these past 3 months to see what was happening for you, Scorpio. So for Scorpio in January, what was the energy? We have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Pentacles is young energy. All the pages are young energy. They're naive energy. They're an innocent energy. They're an energy of learning about your environment, about yourself, about money, how to handle money, how to make the physical world work for you in that sense as well. And again, when it's in reverse, it's like a more subdued energy, something that isn't being released here, something that isn't being... Often I see the Page of Pentacles as an energy that's kind of planning for the future in a way. It's kind of like got this pentacle and it's going to go and plant it. It's like a seed. It's kind of saying, you know, you need to take care to grow more from this one pentacle here in order to be able to have that abundance that you're seeking. But this is in reverse. So again, it feels more like a loss. So, and it is over this energy here. So it could have been a loss of possibly a relationship, again, or work situation, something that you were kind of stable in, or you did have some grounding in it, but then it feels as though something happened here that kind of took that away. So whatever that stability was for you, it kind of sent you back to this more like a learning stage again somehow, like having to go back to the beginning to restart something, to regrow something, because there was no longer, it feels like something was lost here, or somebody left, or so there was no longer, possibly like if somebody was living with you, for instance, in that kind of situation, them leaving would have upset that stability, that financial stability, if there was more than one of you kind of putting into your environment in order for you to have a stable lifestyle. It would have changed the dynamic, let's say. So the Page of Pentacles is also saying that it is a immature energy, sorry. So there could also be a sense of needing to grow from the situation, to actually allow whatever that situation was to teach you something, to learn something from it, to accept it. With the devil energy there as well, it could have been that it kind of threw you into that more fearful, more addicted, possibly even revengeful for some of you Scorpios, a need to kind of try and get your own back. I'm not saying that was the case for everybody, but it would have brought out that more childish energy here, that more immature. And with this devil energy here as well, that's exactly what it could have done. It could have brought up all these issues, possibly abandonment as well. Because if you see here, he's kind of locked in this, or he's in this cage. He's not actually locked in, but he's sitting in this cage. The door is open, but he's kind of staying there on his own volition. It's like nobody's really forcing him to be in that cage. But the devil has kind of taken that control again. So it could have just been a slip up, like it could have just been something, because I don't feel as though it was a major disaster or anything with the devil in reverse. But there could have been like a backward step that happened here. And then with the Ten of Water, the Ten of Cups, we've got the Magician as well. As I was saying about this manifesting, be careful where you focus your attention. We have the Knight of Swords. I'm sorry about this glare. There we go, the Knight of Swords and the Two of Swords here. The Knight of Swords is very quick moving and also very very unsentimental energy. It's like when the Knight of Swords makes up its mind, it doesn't hang around to see what's coming next. It's like, I'm out of here. But there was a decision that was made here as well with this Two of Swords. And I feel there was a decision made to actually, for that to happen, for somebody to leave whatever the situation was here. And to go off and do something else, manifest something else for themselves. Or you, Scorpio, decided you were going to go off and manifest something else, something new. And it was a quick, I feel, decision, a quickly made decision, which didn't necessarily, I feel, work in your favour, possibly. With the Knight of Swords in reverse, it could be something that you're kind of looking back on and possible regret there as well. With the Ten of Water in reverse, there could be this kind of like, oh, you know, I had it all. What happened? I had it all. Why did I lose it? Why did I let it go? Why did I leave it? Why did I, you know, why didn't we communicate better or sort it out? Or, but there is, it feels like this very quick thinking, very quick action that was taken. It wasn't something that was kind of thought through and made from a decision of what was best, long-term best. This seems like short-term best rather than long-term best. So there could be some, like I was saying, some regret there, a hurried decision. Either by yourself or by the person that you could have had this connection with, or you did have this connection with, whether it was a relationship, a family situation, a work situation, something that was very hurriedly decided on in February. And that could be why in March, when you move into the March energy, you're feeling kind of depleted. Your energy's very low. And with this messenger of water, which is also the Knight of Cups as well, it could be, again, like hearing from somebody that you did have that connection with. It is upright, the messenger of water, so it could be somebody who's wanting to talk things through, try and make things better, or you yourself could be doing this. But with the sun in reverse, it kind of feels as though you're not really giving anything away here. So, what was happening for Scorpio? What is happening for Scorpio? Sorry, in March. I have 3 cards. The World in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles in reverse. So the World in reverse is implying an ending and a beginning. It kind of feels as though, again, it was, because it's in reverse, it feels as though it was something that was maybe rushed into. Possibly now you're feeling as though it was an ending that maybe shouldn't have been an ending, or it didn't end well. Something didn't end well here, because we have the Knight of Pentacles, who is very loyal, very dedicated. Somebody who, when they make a decision, they stick to it. It might take them a long time to work something out. It is earth energy. So this is going to be Taurus, Virgo's, Capricorn energy. But then we also have the King of Pentacles, and he is in reverse. So it kind of goes, for me, that kind of goes with this sun energy here as well. And this sense of not wanting to share, not wanting to give anything away, feeling very in like secluded, or taking care of yourself, perhaps, or needing to take care of yourself here, Scorpio. it could be that somebody has with this messenger of water as well, like I was saying, kind of made you an offer, or wants to talk about something. They want to open up about something. And it feels as though, because it's the same kind of water energy going from the Ten of Cups to the Knight of Cups here. It's the same situation that hasn't been talked through, worked out, because it feels as though there was this kind of sudden movement, as I was saying earlier. And it could well be that there is this feeling of it not being the right thing to have done. But somebody is still very loyal to this energy, shall we say. There's somebody who's still very attached to this energy, because that's another thing with the Pentacles energies. It attaches itself and it doesn't easily let go. It likes stability. It likes to know what's coming next. It doesn't like surprises. So there's a lot of very grounded energy, or grounding energy, that hasn't fully grounded here with this king. This king is not king of his castle at this time, it feels like. Because more than any of the other kings, the king of earth likes to be the king of his domain, the king of his castle. He's very astute when it comes to handling money, knowing how to deal with money. But again, it's kind of following on from this pentacle energy as well, both in reverse. So it feels as though something in the physical environment, it could be well-being, it could be health, it could literally be a financial situation, job situation that has not gone to plan. Again, like I was saying, you know that somebody's left the situation, so there isn't as much money coming in as there was before. So there's not as much, this king feels as though he can't be as generous, because that is another thing with the King of Pentacles. When he's upright, he's a very generous energy, because he wants to show people how proud he is of what he has earned and what he can buy with his earnings, etc. But he does want to share it. He's very magnanimous, but not when he's in reverse. So there feels like more of an energy of wanting to keep again, just going into this world energy here, both the world card and the King of Pentacles in reverse as well. It does feel as though there was something that was not thought through completely before the decision was made, and now it's kind of like becoming more apparent that this is like the outcome of that decision. This is kind of what you're having to deal with now in March. Scorpio is kind of the fallout from that very sudden, quick moving decision that was made. And as you move into April, you have the Fool in reverse here. And the Fool is about trusting. It's about trusting your journey. It's about trusting yourself. It's about trusting that you know what is the right thing to do, but not only that, also that you are supported in this, and that's something else that you may not be feeling at this time. You may feel as though you are unsupported, Scorpio. It does feel a bit like the rug being pulled out from under your feet. And it could be that you are having to start this new beginning with this Fool, because the Fool and the World card come together in many ways. It's like, you know, the World is the ending and the beginning, and the Fool is the start of a new journey, a new cycle. And astrologically, we are just coming into that, or we've just kind of finished that cycle on the 20th, the vernal spring equinox. The sun itself is actually starting its new cycle around the astrological calendar, so to speak. So at the moment it's now in Aries again. So that could be this energy here, but we also have the 10 of fire, or the 10 of wands. And the 10 of wands can be an energy of like hardship, long suffering, feeling as though you've kind of again, it feels like draining energy, a drained energy. In this particular card, I'm seeing this because you've got all these burning letters as well, all these burning notes. Each of these are on fire. And she's kind of, if I turn it up the other way, you can see that she's kind of going round and looking at them. And as she's doing so, she's kind of tossing them away and kind of like she's searching for something, searching for the answer as to what happened, why it happened. But again, it's that ending of that cycle, because the 10 is the last card before you move into the page energy. And the Fool and the 10 of fire together is kind of saying to me that there's still things that need to be, before you leap into this new beginning, before you start on this new journey, there's things here that need to be resolved. There's things here that you need to kind of lay to rest. Because it is about carrying lots of baggage, the 10 of wands. It's about carrying, it's like going through life and taking on all these burdens and carrying them and becoming quite kind of like, when it's in reverse, it can be like very cynical about things as well. You can become very cynical about life, not trusting yourself, because ultimately the Fool is really about trusting your own instinctual nature, where you're going, your journey, your instincts, listening to that inner self, that inner voice. And here it kind of says to me that there is something that needs to be cleared out, cleaned up, released even, let go of, in order for that journey to continue. Otherwise it feels as though you're going to get to a stuck kind of place there, Scorpio. That you're going to keep going round and round, basically, which is what this fire is saying here. Just keep going round and round and round in circles, repeating the same thing over and over again. And becoming more and more cynical and more unhappy about what life is giving you with this, again, this manifestation energy. and kind of learning the lesson that you are in control of it all, you are creating it. So let's see what the clarification is here for the Fool and the Ten of Wands. Ten of Fire. In April for Scorpio. So yeah, there is a lesson here because we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And this is, as I was saying earlier, the kind of reaping what you sow card here. And he's not happy about what he's sowing. It's almost like he feels as though he's hard, words that just come into my head, it's kind of hard done by, that he didn't get to, like if you've put a lot of time and energy and effort into something and then you have to walk away from it, or the person that you were putting your time and energy and effort into walks away from you, or the work situation, again, family, etc. But there is something here where there's a sense of not reaping the rewards for the time and the energy and the effort that was put into that situation. And because of that, there is also that feeling of kind of disillusionment, I think, is kind of what's coming through here, Scorpio. A disillusionment energy, not a kind of sense of, you know, what's the point? What's the point to it all? If I just keep doing the same thing and getting the same results, what is the point? And as you move into May, we find the Hermit. Yeah, the Hermit is also in reverse. The Hermit is in reverse here. And so this is like a reluctant energy of the Hermit. This is kind of feeling as though you are being excluded from things, perhaps, or feeling the need to exclude yourself from things. There is a deeper energy at work here, some learning. There's a deep learning curve that is taking place here, and you may not be what's the word I'm looking for here? You may not be open to it. But the Hermit is all about kind of leveling up. It's about finding your own inner light to guide you. Again, going back to this kind of intuitive side of ourselves, our instincts, trusting that animalistic, instinctual nature that we have, that has kind of been ignored, devalued. And that could also be what this is saying as well, that there is this devalue of our, the wrong way, a devaluing of our own instinctual understanding, that we no longer trust ourselves when it comes to the next step that we have to take, particularly when it's a new beginning. It's like, what do I do now? Where do I go? Do I go this way? Do I go that way? And so the Hermit is kind of saying to me that as you reach May, there's going to be this need for you to draw back, to pull back, to not be so involved in other activities that you would normally be involved in, maybe partying, going out a lot more, that kind of thing. It's like saying you need to Because even if you do carry on doing that, even if you do keep going to parties, and you're going to find yourself feeling more and more awkward, or more and more kind of like, so you don't fit in at that time, that you're uncomfortable with that kind of energy, because the Hermit is saying that you're needing solitude, reflection, a time to understand and grow, because we also have the messenger of air here as well. So again, there is messages, there is things that you are needing to listen to or communicate. It is in reverse again, so, and it could also be saying, Scorpio, that you are reluctant to actually listen to that inner voice, reluctant to actually take responsibility in some ways for your own direction in life. Because the messenger of air always looks to me as though she's just kind of waking up from a deep dream, like reverie, like just kind of beginning to open her eyes, beginning to kind of come out of a deep sleep. And it's with this Hermit card in reverse. So it's kind of saying to me that if you do go into this Hermit energy, you are going to kind of awaken something within yourself. This could be a retreat energy as well. It could mean that you're actually going to go on a retreat, or it would be good to go on a retreat and take time out for yourself, whether that's just in your own house, again, like just like excluding yourself from situations. And I feel the more you try to kind of keep yourself involved with things that are no longer on that same wavelength as you, because there is a growth that is taking place here, but you may have to also kind of move away from what's familiar to you. And that could be actually physically, or it could just be mentally or spiritually, or as in the sense of friendships, relationships in general, people that you've known for a long time. You may no longer resonate with them in the same way. But you're being asked to kind of look within and to find your own guiding light there. That's interesting. I didn't realise that card was still in the deck. Right. That was the actual universal Rider-Waite card that fell out there. So we'll try that again. Don't know how it was in there. Oh, that's too many. I'm not taking all of those. It's a long enough video as it is. Right, what do we have? We have the Three of Cups in reverse. So yeah, that kind of idea of celebrating, of going out, of enjoying yourself, of having fun, of being with people who you would normally want to hang out with. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that with the in reverse, there is this need to kind of pull back from all of this, possibly overindulgence and distraction as well. There's a sense of kind of like, the more you overindulge, the more you distract yourself, or you use it as a way of not going any deeper into things, into yourself especially. Because there is something within you here, Scorpio, that wants to awaken, is what I'm getting here. So, June, we have the Chariot. Chariot's in reverse as well. So this is about you not taking don't like the word control. If you see here, he's kind of holding these reins. He's got these horses in front of him, and he does have these reins that are kind of attached to these two separate horses. So there is a sense here of needing to balance things out. It's in reverse, so that it possibly could be like a stagnant or stuck energy here, because the Chariot is about driving forward. It's about moving forward, forward movement. Often very quick, very direct, very like knowing where you're going. You have a kind of idea in your head, shall we say, or a plan. It's like, you know, you get in the car to go somewhere. You don't just get in the car and go, oh, I really don't know where I'm going. I'm just going to sit in the car and kind of wait for somebody to tell me what to do. But when it's in reverse, it's that kind of energy that we're dealing with here, Scorpio. It's kind of like, I don't really want to take control of my own life here. I would much rather somebody else just came along and said, right, you know, now you're going to do this, and you're going to go in that direction, and you're going to, and the Chariot is kind of saying, at this time, you're kind of stuck and stagnant because you're not getting, and we've also got the Ace of Fire here as well in reverse. And the Ace of Fire, what I was going to say is, you're not getting that kind of inspiration, because the Ace of Fire is all about inspiration. The aces are all a new energy that come in, and then they have to be channeled into something in order for that energy to continue. Otherwise it just kind of dies out. And this is saying to me that there is this kind of lack of inspiration, lack of action, lack of movement forward. Just this kind of stagnant feeling here. But things aren't moving forward. Things are not progressing in your life. In June, you're going to feel as though there's this kind of, yeah, lack of, kind of getting a lack of change. Just this sense of like nothing's new, nothing's changed, nothing's pushing you forward, and you're going to feel stuck and possibly consumed by your own need to create, or to bring something into action. For some it could literally be problems with like vehicles, mechanical vehicles, or possibly like missed like journeys, planned journeys that you can no longer actually go on. Or a direction that you thought you were going to take, but now you're kind of holding yourself back. But it does feel like a stagnant energy, an energy that has not got the push, the drive forward. And we have the Knight of Cups in reverse here as well. So this is also, Cups is to do with love, looking for love, wanting love. So it's kind of saying to me that there is this lack of passion, this lack of drive, this lack of, and love doesn't necessarily have to be like an intimate relationship. It can be, or it is, all that we do, all that we put our time and our energy and our self into. There is a disconnect happening here between, because this is like your passion, this is like your heart in a way. And this energy here is that kind of stagnant, blocking something energy. It's like something isn't firing, something isn't connecting here. And it's almost like this is you in a way, Scorpio, kind of sitting in between these two and almost like saying, nope, I'm not going to bring those two together because it just ends up with me having to move on or having to leave a situation. That's how it's coming through in June. Before I do that, I'll read July. So in July we have Judgment in reverse. And this could be you judging yourself. This could be you being harsh on yourself. There is a need with the Judgment card to forgive the past, let it go, which again is this kind of energy that I was picking up here as well, this just kind of staying in your head and going round and round and round. But if you look at this card here, there's these images at the bottom, like ghost type images that are being released here by this. Well, sorry about that. That was my cat knocking something off, as she does. She has that tendency to just lie down and just whatever's in her way has to move. So yeah, when it's upright, the Judgment card is saying that you're in that place of release and letting things go. And this is quite a Scorpio energy in many ways, because Scorpio is that energy of birth, rebirth, death, and everything in between. And Scorpios do tend to go through a lot of kind of like releasing and transformation in their lives. It's like they will go through many different situations where they have to almost like reinvent themselves in some way. It's almost like they come out of this kind of like, you know, think the caterpillar and the butterfly situation. Scorpios, more than any other sign, or those with very strong Scorpio energy, will kind of live that as a life style. It's almost like it happens to a Scorpio on a constant basis. There will be this constant transformation energy because they are ruled by Pluto, of course. You are a Pluto ruled sign, and Pluto is all about the underworld and bringing things up to the surface. He is creation and destruction all in one go. But it is in reverse. So again, there is this feeling of, it's coming through as this feeling of like, again, almost like, what's the point of not being able to, whoops, sorry, that's one of my cards just fell on the floor, of not being able to forgive yourself or forgive others. And by not forgiving others, you're also not forgiving yourself. So this transformation that wants to take place here, Scorpio, with this phoenix rising from the ashes, this transformation is going inward. instead of going, how can you put it, instead of releasing it outwardly, it's like you're releasing it inwardly, because you have the King of Water here as well, or the King of Cups, which is the kind of ultimate love energy in that sense, the compassionate, caring, considerate, nurturing, for all creatures, big or small. You can see there he's kind of welcoming in this little fish. He's kind of like wanting to take care of it, which is very much this caring energy. But again, the King of Water is in reverse here. And it is your energy as well, Scorpio. The water energy. It is your energy. So it's kind of saying to me that there is this reluctance, this resistance to go deeper into something, to look back at the past, to release from a place of loving yourself. Because that's really what this is saying. This is about forgiving yourself for any part that you may feel you may have played in your situations in your life that didn't work out for you. And instead of kind of carrying them constantly with this Ten of Fire energy here, and allowing them to kind of, to disrupt the situations that you are going to move into. So you're bringing your past into your present, and that's creating your future. So you're kind of dragging all this energy around with you. And here, of course, as I was saying, you're also blocking that ability to love and feel love from the heart here, Scorpio. And this is kind of confirming that, or affirming that, kind of magnifying that energy in July. It's kind of really coming into a bigger awareness, but you're still kind of trying to ignore it. Ignore the fact, you know, on some level that there is crap that you have to deal with in order to be able to grow beyond it. But there is this sense of not wanting to look at it. Which can also be about a feeling of not being worthy as well, is what's coming out here. Feeling as though you're not worthy of being loved even. And we have the Queen of Wands in reverse, and that kind of sums that up for me as well, because the Queen is very, when she's upright, male or female. I will just say as well that for all of these court cards, it doesn't make any difference. It's about the actual energy rather than the gender that's on the card. So for the Queen of Wands, she's very magnetic, she's very self-assured, she's very confident when she's upright. But when she's in reverse, she really doesn't have that self-assurance, she doesn't have that belief in herself. And rather than being magnetic, she is kind of pushing things away from her. It's like that magnet turned in the opposite direction, so you get the poles that are reversing rather than attracting, which could also be this energy here as well. There's kind of a sense that you don't want to deal with emotion or love in itself. So again, yeah, this kind of sense of, because the Queen of Wands can also be very sexual energy, very creative energy, but not when it's in reverse. Again, it's that kind of keeping it all subdued, keeping it all underground, all at a certain level. And not wanting to kind of bring it up to the surface, not wanting to look at it, not wanting to recognize it or deal with it. And as we move into August, we literally have the Faith card, also known as the Hierophant card, in reverse. And this, to me, is personally saying that this is about your lack of trust. Here, Scorpio, who do you trust? Who do you put your faith in? And is this in reverse because you've been let down so many times previously? But it does have this 5 of air with it as well. And the 5 of air is like walking on a tightrope, literally feeling as though you're kind of walking on this tightrope of trying to keep, it kind of feels like trying to keep up appearances somehow, trying to kind of like on the surface it's like everything's fine, look at me, I'm, you know, I'm able to do all these amazing acrobats, or, you know, bend over backwards, and that kind of energy, you know, it's like there's nothing wrong, I'm fine, I'm in control is actually what I'm getting from this. I'm in control, whereas this Hierophant is saying something very different, and this is much more on a deeper level. Again, I feel as though this is much more of an internal thing, where this is the outer thing, so this is kind of like keeping this hidden, this kind of facade, if you like, of everything being all right, when actually on a much deeper level it isn't all right. But you don't know how to reach out and to express what you're actually experiencing here, because this is also to do with commitment and responsibility. If you see here, he's kind of clasping his hands in prayer. And there is also knowledge in this card as well, in the Faith card, because if you look there, it's got all the different kind of religious symbols to it as well. So there is knowledge, and there is knowledge to be gained here. But again, if it feels as though there's something here about you just kind of staying on the surface of something, which is what I feel this card is here, kind of staying on the surface and kind of keeping this hidden, keeping it out of sight, keeping it even from yourself, Scorpio. And Scorpios are a very deep, kind of secretive sign as well. Very good at kind of sussing out other people's weaknesses. Very psychic energy. But it feels as though here there's something that you're not, just not trusting. Maybe you're not trusting yourself either here, as well as the people around you. And those of you, maybe teachers, religious teachers in particular, your connection with your own faith as well, maybe questioning whether you even have faith, Scorpio, at times. Maybe some of you have lost faith in yourself, in the world, in those around you. So, why is this card here? That's really interesting. You have the Ten of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, and they're both upright. And this is for August. So I feel as though you are going to, because it does feel as though this is on that like deeper level, as I was saying earlier, kind of, especially with this Judgment card here as well, that it's kind of going within rather than going without. And the Faith card kind of feels the same as well. It's like going to a deeper level of yourself, but keeping things very much to yourself. But here with the Ten of Cups, it's kind of saying on some level that, and it's interesting because I'm seeing it kind of here as well. And this card is about cooperation with other people, working together, teams of people working together, skilled, being good at what you do. Also, it can also talk about it can be the ability to bring people together as well, like communities to work together for something better, to build something better. And that could be why this Ten of Cups is here as well. Because this could be family, this could be friends, work situation again, it could be relationship related, but it feels as though something much greater is being created here below the surface. So it's saying you've got this kind of almost like, you know, fake it till you make it kind of energy is what this feels like. This facade, this kind of like where there's a lot of deep subconscious change going on deep down within you here, Scorpio. And it kind of feels that this is the outcome of that, of all that change. And it feels like coming out of a time of being like very reclusive again into a sharing, like wanting to actually be with people. But there's also something here about having learnt something. There's something that is being learnt in this whole process, which is going to bring you greater happiness. Because he is this person here is skilled in what he does. And it brings great happiness with the Ten of Cups there. And then we're moving into September. And you have the Emperor here. And I feel as though this is you kind of taking your power back, taking it into your own hands. And I think that that's got a lot to do with this energy here as well. Of you finding yourself on some inner level and becoming a lot more content with your surroundings, your environment. You want to, it's like breaking, it feels like breaking out of something. Something that you've kind of kept yourself what's the word? I don't want to say trapped. It's not a sense of being trapped, but you've kept yourself away from. How can I put it? It's like a skill. It's a skill, a natural skill, like something that you are naturally good at. And that could just be knowing how to, like I was saying, bring people together, or you have this natural ability to work, to make things work in your favour. Scorpio here in August. And the Emperor is kind of confirming that energy as well, because this is you stepping into that power. This is you taking control, showing yourself, showing who you actually are, rather than this energy of kind of tiptoeing through things, or kind of just, yeah, that kind of facade, that mask kind of energy of hiding behind things, hiding behind that non-truth of you, who you actually are as an individual, is kind of how it's coming through. But this is kind of almost like you revealing yourself here, Scorpio, like you revealing who you are, your knowledge, your understanding, how you can create, how you can build things up. It is that kind of Pluto energy in that sense, creation, destruction, being in charge, being in control, realizing that you are the power behind your own destiny here, is kind of how it's coming through. And it's come out with the 7 of Air, which can be a card of deceit. It can be a card of keeping your own cards close to your chest. I see this as a card of, if you look here and it's upright, she's kind of surrounded by all these geese and these birds who all kind of, they flock together because they're all of the same kind of family or ilk, but she isn't a bird. She may be trying to pretend to be, or trying to fool herself into believing, or maybe even trying to fit into something that she doesn't actually fit into in this situation. Or wishful thinking, she wants to fit in, she wants to be a part of something bigger. But there is something that with the 7 of Air here, there is this kind of energy of it's quite gossipy as well, quite a gossipy energy. So maybe also be careful of over of being overpowering or overbearing during this period of time in September, Scorpio, because it could work against you. Or there could be others trying to work against you who kind of see that you have this ability to create, to stand strong in yourself. The Emperor's a very strong energy. Everybody looks up to the Emperor. And of course, the Emperor can take advantage of that as well, or he himself can be taken advantage of. So there's a kind of warning here, kind of sense of possible backstabbing with the Seven of Air as well, Seven of Swords energy. So beware, that as a potential. Oh, too many cards. I'm not taking all of them. Too many. Just a card, maybe a couple of cards, but I'm not taking a whole book. There's also a sense of a bright light as well, like shining a light. The brighter your light shines, which of course it hasn't been doing in March because that light has been subdued and depleted in many ways with that sun in reverse. It's like with the Emperor energy here, you've kind of found your own niche or your footing, or kind of you're very much aware of your own power. And because of that, because of the fact that you could be shining brightly as well, that you could attract people who don't necessarily have your best interest at heart. Again, 4 cards. Okay, oh, that's interesting. So we have the 6 of Cups, which does talk about past energy, childhood. A lot of people see this card as the soul mate energy, somebody who you have a deep connection with, often from childhood, past energy. But you also have the Emperor come out again as well. So there's a very strong, in September, a very, very strong driving dynamic force here. The Emperor is the energy of Leo. I know it's got an Aries symbol on there, but for me, the Emperor is always the king, like the Leo energy, sovereign. You don't argue with the Emperor. So double Emperor energy, it's kind of very, it could be very controlling. It could be something that you become very, and they're both upright, so that's good. If they were in reverse, I would be more worried about it, because it could be something where you become very domineering in your energy and your force. But because they're both upright, it feels as though there is this, there's a positivity within the energy. It could be to do with dealing with authority or masculine figures in your life. It could be to do with dealing with father figures or grandparents, brothers, uncles. Very, very strong energy, the Emperor. Very powerful energy in September here, Scorpio. And we also have Temperance, so that's really interesting because it is literally saying, like, you know, temper that over kind of masculine energy. Remember that there is, and that's possibly also something to do with this here as well, the masculine and the feminine energy here. In my other deck of cards, you can see a reflection of the child in the water. It's like the adult is looking into the water and there's a child herself like looking back at her. So it can also have something to do with childhood healing the memories. Can be very dominant parents. But for me, it's also saying with the Temperance card here, remember the, like, you know, the feminine side here as well. It's kind of very overly masculine, driving, forceful, dynamic, but could be too much on that level. And so here with the Temperance card, she has these two cups. She's pouring the water backwards and forwards between them, and usually they're depicted as a silver and a gold cup, again for the masculine and the feminine. So it's saying, like, you know, temper the pair, temper the energy of the masculine and the feminine together in order to create a balance, and not to just come from just one energy. Because it does seem here as though there's this lack of feminine, apart from the Queen of Swords, which is quite a harsh energy in herself as well. Because the Swords is all about the mind, the intellect. So it's not really the emotions that are being dealt with here, Scorpio. It feels as though the feminine emotional energy is kind of being possibly rejected or ignored. And maybe that is because there's too much, like, feminine energy that has been around you, Scorpio. You may feel as though you just need to get away from too much kind of possible gossipy female, because that's kind of, for me, what they're doing there. All these geese, like, you know, geese are very noisy birds. They're very noisy, kind of honking creatures. So it's all very in the head, all very in the mind, all very kind of trying to come from a place of intellectual understanding. And so the Temperance energy here, the angel of Temperance, is kind of trying to remind you to remember that you are a feminine energy, Scorpio. Your energy is naturally, water is a feminine energy. Astrologically as well, Scorpio comes under the feminine signs rather than the masculine signs. And it could be that you are trying to maybe overcompensate somehow for that as well, whether that's male or female. You may feel as though that kind of more gentle feminine energy is not working for you, or it's like not tapping into it is how it feels. So in October we have the Death card. which is your card here, Scorpio. This is Pluto energy. This is transformation. In reverse, it again is talking about inner. It's like it's happening on a very deep underworld kind of level, shall we say. And this is happening in your month as well, the month of October, which is kind of the Scorpio, mostly Scorpio month is October. It's when Scorpio season starts. And if you see there as well, there is this snake here, and snakes of course are also very good at transformation, shedding their skin. They outgrow their skin, so they need to shed it in order to be able to grow, to get bigger, to mature. And it's come out with the Page of Water in reverse as well, which is this kind of innocent childhood energy, which I feel as though I was also picking up here as well. So it does feel as though there's a healing that is needed to take place here. And this is happening, it's occurring on a deep level. A wounding that needs to be healed. This is this is Page of Water. This again is that Scorpio type of energy. And a page again is a young energy. It's that child energy, that innocent energy. This could involve trauma, particularly with this Death card here as well. But something major is happening in October. It's like all of this is kind of leading up to this change, transformational change that is going to be taking place in October. With this healing of your more like innocent, younger self here. Or even allowing this side of yourself to re-emerge, because it does feel as though you've been quite, like in September there has been this kind of heavy energy, very, how can I put it, like very matter of fact, but very like this is how it is, this is how it's going to be, this, I'm telling you, this is how it is. And it does feel kind of, because there's two emperors there as well, it does feel kind of inflexible, like there's not a lot of flexibility in that energy. But it is leading into this energy here, which is that missing, it also feels like that missing feminine side of your own psyche that needs to be integrated somehow into yourself, and it's going to take place through this transformational death process that is happening on a very deep level. Pardon me. I do know that Pluto is about to retrograde again in April, very end of April. So that could also be playing quite a big part in everything that's going to happen, because he's going to go back over the energy back to 26 degrees, where he's going to station direct again. So he's only going to move 2 degrees between the 28 to 27 to 26 energy of Capricorn, but at the same time it's really kind of drilling down on that energy, because it's going to go back again, and it will be doing that for probably about, I think it's about 4 or 5 months. I think that Pluto goes retrograde, because he's so slow moving, that it will be a long process, and this is kind of going to be the outcome, I feel, for you Scorpios, because you've also got the South Node moving through your sign at the moment as well, which is all about releasing the old, getting rid of what no longer works for you, the extraneous, the dead, stagnant. It's time to release it, let it go. South Node energy. It's like you can't go back to what you knew before, because it's not working any longer. It's like that old Scorpio has to die in order for the new Scorpio to be reborn, is kind of what I'm getting from this. And we have, we have the Hangman in November, which is an interesting energy in itself as well, because you are moving into a space of looking for new perspective. So you come out of this death energy in October, in November, into this new perspective, and I haven't actually done any confirmation on that card, but I will do that in a minute. So yeah, this new perspective, this new understanding, this new enlightenment, this new seeing things in a different way is what's happening for you in November. It does feel like that sense of rebirth. For you, it may feel again as though you're kind of stuck somewhere. It can be a bit of kind of like a doldrum type energy of like, oh, like life doesn't seem to be moving, nothing seems to be happening, but you're actually, it always feels to me as though something is connecting on a much, much deeper level, kind of putting the pieces together. And you also have with this the 5 of Wands and the 3 of Fire, both fire energy. So there is with the 3, well, the 5 came out first. So the 5 of Wands for me is always that kind of reluctant energy. If you look at her face, to me she always looks like she's fed up. The 5 of Fire or 5 of Wands is also about you, Scorpio, questioning again. It's like doubting yourself, having to battle with your inner demons. Which is kind of apt with this hanging man energy here as well. Again, it feels like releasing, letting go of this old you. And I want to say it's kind of like the more immature energy here as well. Lack of confidence. Again, with these moths flying around there in the background as well, there is this transformation that is taking place. But it is not going to just happen immediately. With the 3 of Fire here, there is a sense of kind of having to wait for the right direction, the right timing. But I do feel as though life is going to change direction for you here as well. That you're going to kind of see things a lot more clearly and understand things on a much deeper level. Almost like a purpose, a sense of purpose, or a sense of realizing why you came here in the first place. Why am I here? Why are you here, Scorpio? I mean, that's a big Scorpio type question. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? What's it all about? But it does feel as though there is this sense of going in a different direction, moving in a different direction, away from something, away from that. I keep getting the word tantrumy. I don't know why, but that kind of like, because Scorpio also can be quite spiteful as well. If they don't get their own way, they can be quite kind of revengeful and spiteful and stroppy kind of energy is also what I'm getting here from this 5 of fire. But that's more the kind of, it feels a bit kind of teenagery energy. So let's see what the Death card and the Page of Water have to say here. 4 of Cups and the King of Swords, both in reverse. It's interesting because we have the Queen of Cups here as well. So again, to do with the intellect, to do with the mind, to do with facts, figures, numbers, things that make sense, not so much to do with the deeper understanding of life, like yeah, the deeper understanding, birth, death, rebirth. They're all the bigger factors of life. But it's like almost like if I can't understand it. There's also with the 4 of Cups in reverse here as well, I get this sense of something like this gift being offered you. Again, it doesn't have to necessarily, well, it does feel, yeah, emotions. It's like being offered the understanding of your own emotions here, Scorpio. But you're ignoring it. You've got your arms crossed, your legs are crossed. There's this kind of very stubborn, kind of obstinate kind of energy here of like not even wanting to acknowledge it, look at it. And it does feel as though it's almost like this gift that you're not seeing or you're totally ignoring. The gift of how your emotions, what they can teach you, what you can learn from them. But with this King in reverse, this King of Swords in reverse here, I get the feeling that this is like it's all factual. It's got to be factual. It's got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then you don't want to know. If you can't explain it away with facts and figures, then it has no value. It's totally, at this time in October, when you're going through this big transformational death process with the Page of Water there as well, the emotions aren't being related to. Is probably the best way I can put it. It's all in the head. It's all the head. It all has to make sense. Which is very odd, Scorpio, because you're not a... you're not... Oh, I've got another card come out here as well, which is the King of Cups. There we go. So you have the King of Swords and the King of Cups. So it's almost like this battle, in fact, happening here. With this cup, this king is carrying or holding this cup here as well. And this king here, this King of Swords, is kind of blocking it, I feel, from you understanding the real gift of your emotions, of your psychic ability. Water is very sensitive energy, picks up on other people's feelings, other people's emotions, which can become too much, possibly, Scorpio, here. It can be that it becomes overwhelming. You do have the King of Water twice here. Your energies come out twice. So you may find at times it's really overwhelming, and that's kind of why you keep going back to this King of Swords energy, the making sense, but it's not working. In fact, that's why it's in reverse, because the King of Swords isn't. That's what you need to let go of here. It's not working. That mental process only is not helping you discover your real gift, you, that watery, sensitive, intuitive, empathic side of who you really are. And so as we move into November with a Hangman, the 5 of Fire and the 3 of Fire. Excuse me. Flying cards. Interesting flying cards. The 8 of Cups and the Star, and they are both upright. So that's interesting, because I'm sure I said something about destiny with this card as well, discovering your destiny and your purpose. I feel as though you are walking away. That's what I feel that this is about with the 8 of Cups here. You're walking away from this side of yourself, because it's not helping you at all. It's not. It's almost like on an emotional level, when you get upset by something, it feels almost like being stuck at a certain emotional growth point, shall we say. So, for instance, when something upsets you, you go back or you revert to this kind of tantrumy, teenage kind of space within yourself that's still kind of there. This Page of Water kind of energy as well, this young child that needs to be healed. And this, I feel, is what you are leaving behind here with this Hanging Man energy, like getting a higher perspective on yourself, on life in general, on who you are, why you're here, and what you're about, what it's all about in many ways. And then we have this, as I was saying, this new direction, and the Star is kind of talking about not only a healing process that's taking place here, but also that connection to your star, to your own star, the star of destiny. Which is this change of direction. It's following your star. And in doing so, healing in the process. And there's just this deep sense of hope and connection to everything, and realization that everything that you are, it's kind of like it's always been. And again, we're dealing with water. So we're coming back to that element of water, sensitive, intuitive, psychic, the psychic realm. And it feels to me as though that's where you're heading. You're heading more into that acceptance of your bigger destiny, shall we say. It's kind of all falling into place. And lastly, we have the Moon card in December, which is also more water, intuition. When it's upright for me, the Moon card talks about things being revealed, things becoming known that were behind the veil, that weren't knowable, that weren't, it's like putting the pieces together. You're putting the pieces together here. And with the 9 of air, or the 9 of swords, you're also releasing a lot of unneeded thought patterns, is what I'm getting from this. It's very similar to this card here, with the 10 of fire going round and round. It's like, it's the same thing, but it's like now it's kind of transformed into more a sense of you don't need to hold on to any of that anymore. You can let that all go. And the Moon, I also feel on some level, again, it is that inner journey. It is taking you down into deeper places of yourself. And we've also got these 2 beasts here. We've got the dog, which is the kind of friendly, responsive, kind of loyal creature. And then we've also got the wolf there as well. And the wolf is the loner, whereas this is much more of a pack animal. A dog is much more of a pack animal. The wolves do hunt in packs as well, but they do also tend to have this kind of loner ability or energy about them. So it's almost like 2 sides, this wilder side and this kind of tamer side of your own nature here, and it feels like bringing them together. Like understanding the 2 sides. Again, it could represent masculine and feminine energy. And the bats, of course, bats are night creatures, but there's also something interesting about the bat in Native American Indian. The bat is the rebirth energy itself. It is seen as the energy of rebirth. It almost feels like a kind of successful conclusion to all of it. Bringing all of this into a balance is what I'm getting here. And again, we've got the water, interestingly, flowing down here, and it's kind of very silvery, kind of moon-kissed water, which again is that feminine energy. But it also feels as though it's kind of bringing, because water flows into anything, it's kind of bringing things into your, again, your psyche. It's almost like acceptance, an acceptance, a deeper acceptance of your own nature. Scorpio is what I'm getting here. Because Scorpio can be very secretive as well. And the moon does hide things. And the moon controls the water, which is also feminine energy, also psychic. Amazing. We have the moon again, only this time it's in reverse. So for me, this is both sides of the moon. So this is the full moon, the like revealing, and this is the more secretive side. So I'm kind of getting that energy here as well. Like this is the more revealing side, the dog, the kind of like, you know, happy to see you when you come through the door kind of creature, whereas the wolf is much more kind of like, you know, slinks away, kind of lives on its own. And this energy kind of relates to that wolf energy, because this is, for me, the moon is always the new moon when it's in reverse. And of course the new moon is also the dark moon. So it is almost like, you know, the light and the dark, the two sides of ourselves. And here it's kind of coming into balance. So that's very interesting. So December is kind of, it feels like that culmination as well, like culminating, because a full moon is a culminating moon. It like brings things to a conclusion, to a completion, to a kind of release point, which is what we've also got here as well, this releasing 9 of air energy, letting it all go. And then of course it moves forward from the full moon. We go into the new moon, new ideas, new beginnings. So that's what I'm getting from the energy. It's almost like a complete culmination and a new start at the end of this year coming. So let's see what the messages are here from the cards that I can never remember the name of. Nope. Nope, it's not going to come to me. But for anybody who's interested in finding out which cards I'm using, they will all be written in the description box down below. So we have impatience. Oh, we've got 3 in fact. Impatience, which is saying my life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I'm always at the right place at the right time. Interesting energy. Followed by doubt was the next one I saw. So that's offering all to the divine doesn't mean negativity never arises. But you can say, free me from this prison of doubt. I cast this burden to you. Show me your will and restore me to faith and confidence. Which is interesting because that kind of came out in the reading as well. That lack of confidence, belief in yourself, your doubt. It's that 5 of Wands energy. And lastly we have compassion, and it says, as you pray each day for greater compassion, a new self is born. drawing new people and experiences. Dear Lord, help me help me feel ever developing. Let's start again. Ever deepening self-acceptance. So as you pray each day for greater compassion, and a new self is born, drawing new people and experiences. Dear Lord, help me feel ever deepening self-acceptance. May I see myself as you see me. Also very interesting energy or card to end on, because I feel that that's kind of speaking of that moon energy there as well. So last card is from the Namaste blessing cards, which I do remember the name of. I do not know why I never remember the name of the other ones. So a Namaste blessing card for Scorpio for their 2022 journey. What is the advice message for Scorpio? Please, Namaste blessing cards. What do you feel Scorpio should know, needs to know, wants to know? Infinite blessing. Blessings flow to and from you endlessly, expanding in all directions, filling you with the healing light that guides you upon your blessed path. Rainbow light flows from your heart, creating infinite peace. There we go. Which is a lovely card to end on. Infinite blessings. So Scorpio, that is where I'm going to finish your reading and say thank you very much for coming over and listening. I hope that you have found it enjoyable, or that you've learned something from it, or that it has given you even something to think about. If it has, please could you thumbs it up for me, because the more likes I get on my videos, the more YouTube knows that people are paying attention to it, and therefore it's more likely to kind of recommend my videos at some point as well. But it also just means that I may get more people to actually come and watch the videos, which is what I'm trying to do at this time, put the messages out there. So if you could thumbs it up, that would be great. Also, for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, there is a subscription button on my videos. So if you're wanting to find out more about 2022 for any of your other energies as well, I've put them all out up until Scorpio, obviously, and I will be doing the rest after this as well. So tap that subscription button and that little bell will come up, and you can tap that and get my videos as and when I put them out there. At the moment I am really concentrating mostly just on the full moon, new moon, astrology and tarot readings, because I do all of those or both of those. And also there is a playlist for anybody who wants to find out more about the things that I've already put out as well, because there's no times, no dates on any of my readings, there's just titles. So if anything grabs you, if it resonates with you, if you think, yeah, that makes sense, then take it as your reading regardless of what time you listen to it. And when I put it out, it's really not relevant at all. So I think that's everything. Just take really good care of yourself, Scorpio, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Oh, before I forget, please comment as well. If you want to put a comment down below, that's really helpful for me to get some feedback, to know that people are listening and do take in what I'm saying. Just tell me how you feel about the reading, and that will be great. It would just be great to have some some connection, some contact with the outside world. So on that note, I will leave it and say thank you again very much for coming over and listening, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Take care.